I think the press in this country is a disgrace. They will hound and chase everybody that they can if they think it suits their agenda. I just think everyone should calm down and let the responsible people deal with the issues. Well, we're here rallying and demonstrating about the ticket office closures and the de-staffing of our stations right across the Great Britain network. It's a focal point for what we've been doing out all day across the country at the small stations, the medium stations and the large ones. We want to give the people of London and the South East an opportunity to have their say. We're getting a great response to our campaign, and it's just to get out and say we're here, we're not giving up. We want to save our railways, save our stations, save our ticket offices and keep the railway a human environment, not just a place where they can make profits and de-staff the station. So that's why we're out.
Since our last conversation, have you spoken with the Transport Secretary about keeping them open?
No, not yet, but this is about putting him under pressure, so he's got to come out of his bunker and respond. I understand there were questions in the House this morning to the Railway Secretary, and even the Speaker of the House intervened in his answers and said, "You're not telling the truth. You're not giving us the correct facts. Ticket offices will close, and as a consequence of that, there will be de-staffing, because it's only the ticket office regulations that guarantee you staff on your station." So even the Speaker, who's normally neutral, is getting involved in this debate, and that's a good thing, because he knows in his constituency they're not telling the truth.
I mean, what's the public response been like?
The public response has been great. We've got thousands of people writing in saying they want to get our packs, they want to get out, community activists, pensioners, disabled activists, women's groups, everything you can describe, and just railway users in general are saying we want to be involved. What we've got to do is turn that into action so that they do the demos. We've had demos down in Penzance, up to the north of England, in virtually every town where there's a presence. It's been a great response, but we've got to turn that into making these government ministers and the train operating companies listen. But it is the Tories that will finally make the decision. So the part of this process is to get the Quangos, Travel Watch and London Travel to say, look, we don't want to endorse these closures, and then it'll be up to the Secretary of State himself, Mark Harper, to sign off death warrants or reprieves of all these stations, up to 1,000 stations, and that's what we've got to achieve. It can be done, and we're determined to give people the chance to get that done.
Ask you today the news that Rishi Sunak is going to give a 6% pay rise to teachers. It was teachers.
Teachers, public sector.
And then 7% to police. How did you find that?
Well, it's more than we've been offered. And it's no strings attached from what I understand. There's a question about the funding, how that's paid for. All of the offers we've had, as poor as they are, have been based on that we've got to accept everything they want to throw at us, including the closure of all our stations. We can't do that, and we will never endorse the closure and cutbacks of our stations and services. We want to get to a situation where we get guarantees about our members' jobs. We want our terms and conditions negotiated, not chopped to bits and imposed, and we want a pay deal. So we're still campaigning on that, and we'll see how it goes. We're available to speak to anyone that can cooperate with us and get a deal, but at the minute there's no deal on the table.
Do you think 6% is enough to offer the teachers?
Well, I don't think it's enough. It's not what they deserve, and it's not where inflation is, and it doesn't rebalance all those losses that people have suffered ever since the Tories got elected, 12 years ago or more. So it's not enough, but it's better than nothing. It's up to those unions and the members of those unions to make their decisions. I understand it's going to a referendum. I'm not going to make judgments on that. That's up to their members and their unions to sort out their response to those situations.
Just want to ask you about Huw Edwards and the story that's been breaking this week. I mean, did you think the Sun were right to release the story?
I don't think the Sun's ever been right about anything. So I think these things should be treated with caution and discretion. I don't want to be involved in other people's misery. Obviously, I want young people, children and others protected in our society. But I'm not here to be a judge and jury on that situation. I think the press in this country is a disgrace. They will hound and chase everybody that they can if they think it suits their agenda. I just think everyone should calm down and let the responsible people deal with the issues under the procedures and the laws and the regulations that we've got.
Do you think this is a good example of why we might need better press regulation?
I think we do need better press regulation. It needs to protect the individual. It needs to protect vulnerable people, and that can include celebrities. We've seen what happened to Caroline Flack and others. These people aren't our enemy. I've got no axe to grind with Huw Edwards. He's accountable for his behaviour and his morals or whatever he's done, but also he's got his own health issues, and so it's up to responsible people to deal with these matters in the appropriate way, and we should all stand back and let those people get on with their jobs.